Hello, welcome to Veritas. I'm your host, Adam Colazetti, and I'm here to guide you on a meditative adventure like no other. Join me and lose yourself in your imagination as we travel the outer reaches of the cosmos, quest for powerful talismans, and explore the inner realm of your subconscious. What might you find along the way? But be warned, fair traveler, this path is not for the faint of heart. On this path, of one thing I am certain, dragons be here. Are you ready? So how we're going to begin is you're going to sit comfortably, however that means to you. Could be legs crossed, could be sitting in a chair, whatever it is, sit somewhere comfortably that you feel relaxed and comfortable. And you're going to close your eyes and you're going to take 3 deep breaths. Deep breath in, count to 4. Deep breath out, count to 4. And each time you exhale, you're going to try and relax your body a little bit further. So you're going to inhale, pause, exhale. Pause. So as you're doing this and you're relaxing, it's in those pauses between breaths where we're going to go. That is where your creativity meets your imagination, meets your subconscious. So let's see what awaits you in the spaces between breaths. The brush is cool against your hand. It is ever so intricately carved, and when you hold it up to the light, you see tiny runes written over the entire surface of the hand. Whatever made this was not by human hand. With the start, the chest slams shut and vanishes within the vines encapsulating it. Above you, there is movement in the squawking of birds. This is not the sweet melody of before. Rather, it is the cry of fear and panic. Dozens and dozens of birds fill the sky, and that's when you feel it, a low rumbling in the ground. You lie flat and place your ear to the ground. Sure enough, the ground tremors. Something has terrified the birds and shakes the ground. Beyond the wall, trees begin toppling, but the immovable wall of the garden stands fast, until water begins pouring in over the top of the walls, slowly at first, but then faster and faster as waterfalls form along the wall and begin to fill the garden. Plants, shrubs, flowers, trees, all of it is cast aside as the rushing current quickly overtakes the garden. You barely have time to register that your feet are moving, but they are taking you towards the entrance, but it is gone. The water is up to your knees now and climbing fast. More and more water pours over the sides, and now the water is up to your waist, and then your armpits, and then you are swimming. At some point you find yourself clinging to a tree branch. The water falls slow to a trickle and then stop. And you find yourself floating atop what is now an underwater garden. It is then that you realize you have dropped the paintbrush. Frantically, you spin in circles looking for it. It must have fallen out of your hand as you treaded water. You breathe in and dive down, your eyes darting left and right for the falling totem. Even underwater, the garden is breathtaking. Colored leaves float idly by, and plants sway gently in the currents. But even as you watch, the color begins to wither. It is not meant to survive underwater, and soon the colors grow dark, and what was once so full of life now wilts. And soon there is nothing but gray and black. Fortunately for you, the bristles of the paintbrush glow still, and you catch a glimpse of pale blue light. You surface quickly for air and then dive down once more. Deeper and deeper you descend until you see it, caught in some thorny vines at the bottom of the once vibrant garden. Careful not to scratch yourself, you reach past the vines and grab hold of the paintbrush. Even here it glows with color. The runes glow with orange light as you hold it, and for a moment you swear you see your name written along the side, but then it is gone. You turn to ascend once more, and as you do, the edge of the brush touches the thorny vine and it glows with vibrant blue for just a moment, but it is enough to catch your attention. Up and up you swim, although the blue vine never leaves your mind, even as you pierce the surface of the water once more. You float lazily atop the water, for the first time noticing that the pink sky makes the water look pink, like a bubble bath. You laugh as you imagine creating grand things with soapy bubbles. Whatever you imagined could be true. This gives you an idea. You grasp the paintbrush and picture it in your mind, a bubble. Not just any bubble, but a giant one, large enough for you to fit inside. Slowly you extend your arm and begin to paint the surface of the water as you spin in a circle. fast now. Your arms and legs kick as you turn in the water, and sure enough, where the paintbrush traces begins to glow with blue light. With delight, you realize that the water beneath you has seemingly drained out, creating a semicircle dome beneath you that eventually completely encapsulates you as you sink below the surface. You have created your own personal bubble. Slowly it descends as your weight pushes it below the surface until you land again at the very center of the garden. It is the same place where you found the brush to begin with. Around you, the remnants of the former garden are dead and lifeless. You grit your teeth and close your eyes. You imagine the colors and the textures. You imagine the ridges and shadows, and what you imagine begins to take shape. You begin to paint. Your strokes are broad at first, like you are uncovering a hidden treasure, then you move faster and faster. Underwater, coral reefs begin to form and take shape. Great colorful marine foliage begins to blossom from the dead vines of the garden, and soon the dead memory of the garden begins to glow with color as you paint the underwater garden this place desires. The edges of the bubble move and distort as you paint, taking the shape of whatever you bring to life. Your paint textures and edges in 360 degrees, and slowly but surely you breathe life into an underwater oasis. The colors are vibrant and they ripple and move as sunlight streaks through the pink water. Your soul feels ready to burst, and still you paint. Gradually the colors become more and more vibrant as you paint over and over. A touch of blue here, a dash of red there. You paint red coral and blue rocks. You paint pink seaweed and underwater flowers, paying attention to each and every petal and each and every surface. You are painting the colors of your soul, and it blazes brighter than any pink sky ever could. At last you find yourself in the center of the garden again. Around you, color comes alive as the sunlight from the surface peeks its way through. You pause for a moment as you consider what could possibly be missing, but you already know the answer. A few quick strokes of your brush, and two dragons chasing each other in a circle form a gateway in front of you. It ripples with the colors of your masterpiece. It is almost time. With a sigh, you take a moment and look around you. The world you have painted with the colors of your soul is so vibrant that to look with just your eyes would not do it justice. You must feel it with your most inner sense of self. You glance back at the gateway. There is one more thing. You step forward, and with a flourish worthy of an artist, you bow to the applause of a universe that appreciates your soul. As you do so, the paintbrush glows with one last burst of blue and then fades away to nothingness. With one last twist of your heel, you throw your arms skyward and fall through the gateway. There is a sense of openness and oneness, and then you find yourself standing in the center of the garden once more. It has returned to its original glory and definitely not underwater. However, you swear the colors are just a little more vibrant, just a little more you. Sure enough, the chest awaits. You touch your hand to the engraving and it glows as before. This time when it opens, only a single item remains. Welcome to Veritas. We're here to talk about truth. Whose truth? Well, hopefully your truth. We are talking about twin dragons and all things gardens and colors. And I have with me Katelyn Bullock. Thanks so much for coming on the show, Katelyn. You had a choice.
I did.
You chose the seed. Now you chose the paintbrush.
Yes.
And we painted some color, and we're going to talk about color. But first, let's have some fun with cards. What are you going to pick? Something colorful. Oh, yeah. The salmon.
How is that for colorful and a water trip?
Right? That is kind of spooky. It was a story about water and color. So let's see, what does the salmon have to say? If I was smart, I would number these, but I'm not that smart.
Says one of the smartest people I know.
Right. Goose.
If they were smart, they would have put it in alphabetical
Right.
order for you.
There we go. Wisdom, inspiration, and rejuvenation. Yeah, the salmon, it is the oldest animal and often offers us wisdom and inspiration. To find wisdom, we need to recapitulate our lives, to journey in consciousness back to our beginnings.
Oh, how does that land?
Right?
How does that
There you
land?
go, the salmon. That's a little
That's
bit
insane,
wild.
actually.
So, okay, paintbrush, some painting, some water. How?
Okay, I got to tie this all together because what I went through,
Okay.
okay, in my mind was, okay, I was in this garden, this beautiful garden, and the water was flowing in, right? And it was filling up and filling up and filling up until the whole garden was muted. And I had to, once I found the paintbrush, I had to bring it back to life. I had to paint what was inside of me and recognize what was inside of me to paint this garden back to life. And so for me, what was going through my head was like being born into this world full of all of the opportunity and connectedness and love that we are just innately born with as the moment we come into creation. And the things that we learn and the expectations that we place upon ourselves kind of dulling out the full capacity of what we have. And that it isn't until we seek awareness and enlightenment that do the colors start to come back. Do we start to really live again? And so that fish and what it was saying about like the realization and like the wisdom
Ooh.
coming back to oneself, that was exactly the journey I was going on with you.
Okay. I love that. I love this idea of, you have this perfectly colorful, beautiful garden, but now it's underwater, and it's still like there. But as you said, it's muted. And I think the cool thing about water is pressure, right? So pressure in our lives can maybe mute us, mute the colors.
Yes.
Right?
Expectations, right?
But then with pressure, I think also can come perhaps something even more marvelous. Right?
Right. Forge something even more beautiful.
Sure.
But I think you have to ignite it. And I think in life, and this is where I was going with my experience, is like a recent journey of enlightenment and seeking that deeper sense of awareness has started to make things more bright. Right? And so I continue to paint and seek for it. But I think what the amazing journey will be is that once the painting is done and the dragons come together, right, in the perfect harmony, it'll be even brighter than it was before. And that's what I loved about the garden. It was just a little bit brighter.
Sure, you come back, right?
Come back.
You're like, oh, it's a piece of it's been touched by your soul, perhaps.
Right? Just a little bit brighter.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to see a theme, right? There's the garden with the birds and being present, the door opens. And then, of course, you have the seed with sort of journeying inwards and seeing
The possibilities.
And then, of course, igniting something inside of you to change the world. So, all right, where are we going? We still have to get to the staircase, Katelyn.
But there was no staircase this time.
No.
Interesting.
Right?
But I feel like the music box will lead us there.
You think so? Okay, I guess we'll find out. And if you are listening, you don't have to choose in the same order as Katelyn. Choose whatever you think. So let's go to the third and final item.
Okay.
Join me each week as a new chapter unfolds. What worlds will we explore next? What gods and monsters will we find? What part of yourself will awaken? Only one way to find out.